Rolling here. Okay, welcome everyone to the simple three-tool setup that gave our presenter back 32% of her workday. And she's going to share it with us. Karen Kelly is a new presenter for Boston Business Mentors, and we're very happy to have her with us. First, I'm going to give you a little overview of what we are all about, just in case you're new to us. We do find that a lot of folks come to us through the workshops and webinars first before they uh, are familiar with our mentoring program. But our goal is to share small business information or education. We do it in many different ways, workshops and webinars. We have strategic roundtables. We have networking events. All those are shown on our website, newsletters. We post them on social media as well. We have a lot of great information on our website, resources you can download, such as templates, excuse me, business plans, marketing plans, different kinds of financial reporting. We have some really great blogs. I'd like to call your attention to that. Great articles written by both our volunteers and by partners that are relevant to topics that are current, and some are even industry specific. So you might want to take a look through that. Without a doubt, our mentorship program is our keystone program. Our mentors are volunteers. We're around 45 mentors at this point. They have a variety of skills and experiences that they can share with you. Mentor can act in many different roles. They can be a sounding board. They can be someone who helps you find resources to overcome challenges. They can be someone that helps you plan for your goals and execute those goals. So they meet you where you are. You could be in the I have an idea, all the way up to I'm ready to leave my business and trying to decide how to exit that business. So we have folks all along the way. Our approach is a team effort. It's not uncommon for a mentor to invite other mentors just to make sure that that client's getting everything they need to be successful. So QR code there. I will put that up again at the end if you'd like to get yourself apply for a mentor. Okay, well, I want to introduce Karen Kelly. We're very thankful for her donating her time today to share this important topic with all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kelly or Karen. Sorry.
No problem. It happens 7 days a week. Um, it's so nice to meet all of you. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can actually see faces here. There's not. Okay. I'm so happy to meet all of you. I am a three-time founder. I'm based in Boston, of course. I have owned my own business for almost the last 20 years, a few different businesses. And so when I think about partnering with Boston Business Mentors, for me, it made perfect sense because before I was in tech, actually, most of my business ownership was actually B2C businesses. I had a photography studio, videography studio. I then started a little media company. So a lot of it's been in marketing, but I know what it's like to sit in your seat and have way too much to do and probably be running a really successful business, but also feel like you're drowning in work. And I remember feeling the pain of I just hook up the phone with a potential new customer, really great vibe, seems like it would be a good fit. I now need to recall all the things that they just said. Hopefully, my notes look okay. And I need to turn it around and I need to represent it to them in a way that is concise and that, helps you essentially, win the business. And so one of the best things that I have learned as someone who has now moved over to tech in 2018, but now I was a non-technical leader, as they say, I don't traditionally code. And if that's you too, it's a great time to be alive because AI is really changing the game on what's possible. And so I really wake up so happy every day as a business owner now. I own Built by Karen, which is a consulting company, but I also own Launch by Lunch. And Launch by Lunch is all about helping people like you and me develop the AI skills we need to be successful in the world and to move forward with confidence and with efficiency. And so, from my perspective, it's there are so many things that we don't need to do anymore as business owners, that were so onerous and really weren't about like our, our unique way of doing things, our humanity, our voice. It was more about process and procedure. And so that's why I decided to choose this topic for today, because for me personally, the idea that I can use three different tools within 5 minutes to do something that I would have taken me typically like a few hours, mentally also would have felt really painful to go back and do. All that stuff really matters, right? As a business owner, it's not just the time it takes you. It's like, oh, what am I putting off? What is that log of list of things that I haven't done? AI can do so much of that. So, very excited to be here today. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see here. Great. Um, so like I said, today, hopefully you guys can all see that. Yeah, I think you can. Um, Somebody just give a shout in the chat in case you can't. Um, and three tools that I'm going to be generally be talking about today, and sort of how to take a phone call or an interaction with somebody that you've had virtually and turn it into a presentation or a proposal or both very quickly. Um, my three tools are an AI note taker, Claude. Claude could sort of be substituted for ChatGPT if you are using it in a very voluminous, full-bodied way. ChatGPT is possible. You can do a lot of things in there now that most people don't even know. I love Claude. I love Claude because it is number one, when you think about like AI tools out there and it's overwhelming, it's one of these tools that sort of serves as an umbrella, just to give you a little bit of a sense. You can plug in your Google Drive and your email. You could also plug in your Microsoft Outlook email. It's sort of team agnostic, as I like to say, whether you're Microsoft or you're Google, whatever team you're on, almost any tool at this point can kind of plug in. And so what that enables, and I'm going to share my cloud account with you guys in a few minutes and show you this, is kind of this single pane of glass where all these tools can talk together. So you can be pulling data and really creating consensus from a data perspective and a storytelling perspective from all of your tools, whether that's a CRM, a Slack, an AI note taker, etc. So but today we're going to be focusing on an AI note taker. I use Fathom, Claude, and Whisperflow, which is a dictation tool, which I will also show you. So to get going here. Again, as I mentioned, we're all really familiar with this pain. New customer, there's a lot of excitement. You've taken copious notes, you've just finished a meeting, and now you've got to kind of turn it around into something that looks presentable and is accurate. And then, of course, has costs and other process things associated with it. And so, again, that context switching and going back, trying to read your notes, it's a pain in the neck, it's time consuming. We don't need to do it anymore, bottom line. So this workflow, the whole idea is it really only takes about 10 minutes. Capture, craft, create. It's really, really simple. And so the capture part is really just being able to have some kind of AI that's taking in the information that's happening. If it's a virtual discussion like we're doing right now. There's lots of note takers for that. I'm happy to answer questions sidebar about that. I use Fathom. I like Fathom because the summaries are really good. I think they're excellent. They get sent out to anybody who I was on the call with. There also is a video that comes with it, so I could actually review the entire video if I wanted to, and that's great for sales training and things like that. But then there's also the entire transcript is there as well, not just the summary. And so, because I do so many meetings this way, because I'm generally working remotely, it has this like 349-degree context of my business life, right? So, like between my email, my calendar, and all my Fathom notes, it's like that's my business. So it's a very, if you are doing a lot of meetings like this, adding that one tool, yes, for this workflow, but also for like 100 other workflows. And just thinking about like, I need a second brain. I need a partner to help me think about something. Once it has full context for who you are, what you're doing, and where that deal is at, and all the back and forth you've had with that one customer, it really will change how you work. Um, and so craft is the second part, right? So you have a note taker in the room. Also, I'll just add if you're doing a lot of in-person meetings or if you're on a phone call, Granola is another great tool. I don't use it only because you got to pick a lane. You can't have unlimited subscriptions. And I started with Fathom. Most of my meetings are this way, so it works. But I do miss a little bit because Fathom can't record, the kind of in-person things. I was at a conference yesterday and somebody said, I'm going to record this on granola, right? So they just turned it on and absorbed all the data that way, which was pretty cool. So in any case, there's other tools. I think Fathom and granola are two good ones which can then turn around and within the context of Claude, like if all this is feeding into one place, right? And then the Claude has this little brain, kind of knows everything about you. Hey, can you look at those meeting notes for me and actually create a proposal right now? And of course, I'm going to show you what this looks like in real life when it has like no information about me or my business. So you can just see plain what it looks like now once it starts to get to know your business, your brand, your colors, how you like to talk, how you format things. It's just such a game changer. And that's that third part, the create piece, which really does feel quite magical. Um, Talked about this a little bit already, but if anybody has any questions about AI note takers, I'm more than happy to answer them. Probably some of you are in regulated industries whereby you can't use them, or some of your clients don't like you to use them. That is what it is. But wherever you can, it is really helpful, even if it's just inter-team as well, to capture like to-dos, who needs to do what did we decide on, and then actually assign it to people. Say like push that out into Slack to assign it to people. Claude, as I mentioned, I use it in this workflow to create a follow-up email, to create a one-page proposal, and to create a presentation outline. It's going to vary, of course, per customer. Maybe I don't need a presentation outline or a deck built for this one, or maybe I only need that and I don't need the one pager, but it can do it all. So I will show you it all. Um, and then last, Whisper Flow, which I mentioned briefly earlier. This is an AI tool that you think, well, why do I need to pay for a dictation tool? There's like there's dictation capabilities in all of my different tools. There's two big differences why I really like this tool. I don't get paid any money to talk about any of these tools. These are just the hacks that I have found to be really useful. Is that number one, as you're switching between different tabs, and we all know how many tabs we have open on our computer, right? So whether you're switching between like a Google Doc, your email, some AI chat, something, LLM, wherever you are, Whisper Flow enables you to just hit like one button on your computer. On my computer, it's the function button and actually go ahead and dictate. So, and as the name implies, whisper. The sensitivity is fantastic. So it really is high quality dictation. And it will like, again, anywhere as I move around, I just hit the button and start talking. Like that alone saves me at least 50% of my time during the day. I remember the first time I used all these tools together with the dictation, and I was like, I'm actually it's like I'm almost working hands free because I'm dictating so much. And yes, I've got to click around, but it's a real game changer. Okay, I'm gonna stop for a second because I am seeing some things in the
Yeah,
chat here.
we do. Are you using Fathom free or paid?
Paid,
Okay. And
but
then
it's not very much. I know they all add up, but I think it's $10 or $15 a month, something like that.
yeah, and I'll say too, a lot of our Boston Business Mentor volunteers use Fathom, the free
Hmm.
version,
Yep.
and they've been happy with free as well.
Yeah,
So
it just depends on like how many bells and whistles and how often you're using it.
yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Fathom compared to the Zoom AI note taker?
Like, so I'm, you know what, we all pick our teams. I'm a Google Meet person, so I'm almost never on Zoom, which is also why I feel slightly lost in webinars like this, where I'm like, "Why can I see your faces?" So I just don't use it for that reason. So I wouldn't be a great person to tell you. I would say whatever works in your workflow is kind of the right answer because you want it to feel seamless. You want it to just be there automatically. You don't want like to be struggling every time. So I would say if you're always on Zoom and you're always doing Zooms, I don't, what one question I answer, like, I don't know the answer to is, and I don't think it does. If I set up, like, Fathom will follow me anywhere. It doesn't matter if I set up the meeting, somebody else set the meeting, it's Google Meet, it's Zoom, it's Teams, it'll follow me. As opposed to Zoom, which I believe will only show up in if you're in another Zoom meeting. If somebody's using a different tool, then I don't think it follows you. So that could be one differentiator, but I'm not a great person to answer that. Uh,
And there's a question about the bot not being accepted into the call, and I think that
yeah.
is a lot of times up to the host.
It is. And you can't do anything about that. If someone doesn't let it in, I will say to the host, "Hey, would it be okay if we did that?" And they might say no, and that's that. And then, or they might say, "Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was sitting there."
Right. Okay, changing gears a little bit. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Claude Design since I noticed that you used Gamma for this presentation.
Yeah. So Cloud Design is brand new, as I'm sure you know. It is. Um, I'm not a designer. It doesn't mean we shouldn't use it. We should use it, but it does take some work to get set up, and it does require. Um, like I at this conference I was at yesterday, there was a bunch of us actually. Somebody had brought their computer and we were all gathered around looking at Claude Design, and she had taken it pretty far. I, honestly, it's more I just haven't. I'm we all get into our routines. I've been using Gamma for almost a year. I love Gamma. It kind of knows me too at this point. So, and there's something to be said for that. So. I just need to put a little bit more time in. The people who I know are using it love it. And they're both designers, so they really care about aesthetic. I think for me, I care, but I'm not looking at the corners and like crying because they're not rounded in a specific way. So I think it is really good, and I do think I'm going to benefit a lot from it once I get it set up. I'm just not there yet, but I hear like really fantastic. And it's mostly for decks, just to give people context to create presentations like this. But it essentially takes all of your brand assets in a very specific way to then apply it holistically. And then the second thing that it does is it does a lot around apps. So like actually UI, UX design for applications and things like that, which is so useful. And if you're building an app, you can be building it in Claude and then use Claude Design with you to then actually not just make it function, but make it look amazing. Again, great time to be alive as an entrepreneur.
Okay, we'll go. This will be the last one, and then we'll
Okay.
move on. Let you move on. What about privacy and confidentiality with all these tools? Are you concerned about that?
So one of the reasons I really like Claude is because as much as it can run things locally on your computer, it does. The way I have mine set up, and I am using, there's Claude Chat, there's Cowork, and there's Code. Code is really a misnomer. People think, well, I'm not developing anything and I don't code. It's like, I don't use it for that at all, nor does it even function that way. No one's actually writing real t technical code into it. They are chatting with it like you would chat with Claude Chat. The only difference is you need a markdown file to connect to it. And what is a markdown file? It is literally just a plain text file with just regular, English language on it, no actual code, that has a bunch of information about you, your business, how you operate, etc. It continues to update and save as it gets to know you, becomes like a bit of a brain that works in tandem with the software app. So I am always in code for that reason because I'm constantly building out this little markdown file brain in the background. And it's the only part of Claude that will remember. So if you're in cowork, it will remember information within each project. That's great. And that's really helpful if you're doing, client specific projects. You want to keep that data separate, totally separate from each other. Cowork and projects is a perfect way to do that. For me, my information is getting stored right here on my computer. I am not sharing it with training models. And Anthropic will take it up to home base. It will think about it and then it brings it back down. It doesn't go anywhere else. I know we all believe these companies like sort of half-heartedly. However, Anthropic actually seems to have some moral backbone, as we all saw what happened with the government, et cetera. I trust them more than I trust any other AI company, and they're going out of their way to try and really lean into privacy. So that's how I think about it. Of course, if it's HIPAA related things, et cetera, that's like a whole other bag of worms. I can refer you to somebody if you want to talk more about that. But generally speaking, I have I have a call with a customer. They tell me about their needs. There's nothing really privacy centric about that. It's not like I said. I have the toggle off for it's not getting shared with any training model. So Anthropic shouldn't be sharing it with anyone else. And then otherwise, that information is just getting stored locally for me. So that's how I think about it. And I'll show you guys where the switch is in Claude. And if you're using ChatGPT, obviously make sure you find the switch also. If you don't know where it is, just Google it. Where's the turn off the data training switch in Claude or ChatGPT or whatever it is you're using? Okay,
Thank you.
sure. Um, Granola for in-person meetings. Yeah, they do have it. I don't have that, but I watch people do it all the time. So it's there. You just turn it on and it starts recording. All right, I will shut this. Okay. So bringing it all together, I think we're kind of getting the flow here. I finish a Zoom call like this or Google Meet like this. The notes are getting fed into Claude right like as soon as they're ready. And so that's the other great thing about Fathom actually, a differentiator is the notes are ready within 3 minutes and I get an email with the notes. So you know, Claude can essentially just go in my email and be like, oh, okay, I see the Fathom notes that just came in. I understand. I know she had this meeting because I know her calendar also. Excuse me. And so it pulls that information in, and then I can just turn around to it and say, hey, I need to create a proposal for this. Please review the notes and create a Google Doc or a Gamma deck. Maybe soon it'll be a Claude design proposal. Um, and do that for me, use my branding or use this theme, etc. Right? And you can give it as much or as little prompting as you want to from there. So what does this actually achieve, right? So it's about 10 minutes from the time I hang up the call to the time I have these things like produced and kind of tweaked. Um, and again, the more you use it, the more it gets to know you stylistically, all of that. But most of the time, I will say, really, it gets me like 80 to 90% of the way there. I say three polished deliverables, but to be honest with you, there's so many things you could do with this. For example, if the customer was saying, like, I really need to do more research on X and Y, you could say, also, customer asked for research on X and Y. Can we create a separate project to do some deep dive research on this so I can create a competitive report for her or whatever it is, right? It's like, oh, cool. You can have kind of like unlimited agents out there doing work from your, whether it's an AI note or something else, but in this case, an AI note, like kick it off, like get it going. You can do all of this at once. And those are really nice ways too, again, as business owners to surprise and delight our customers, right? Where they just mention something and you're like, oh, wait, actually, I have an amazing tool in my back pocket that I could use to actually put something together, get the research done in 30 minutes, pop it out to Gamma. I also included this research deck about the topic that you mentioned that you were interested in. Just like really, really cool, right? And blow them away. I love doing stuff like that. Um, and again, for me, I hate going back in time when I think about the time savings and all that. I just finished it. I want to move forward. It's just it's a mental thing. It's another piece of mental load for all of us. And of course, it also allows you to just be really present on the call, which I always really enjoy not having to worry about taking the notes. Although sometimes, like I have a notepad here, just I don't know, if it's habit, it also makes me just feel a little bit good to be like, even if I just write down one word about what we're talking about, sometimes I just still like it for processing and like that's okay too. But you don't have to worry about like all the detail and all the things because these conversations are often wide ranging, right? So let the AI do the real hard work for you there. Okay, so now we're going to walk through it live. So what I've done essentially in my cloud account, which I will share with you, set up a demo whereby we get some AI generated notes, a sample of AI generated notes. We're going to use Whisperflow to prompt Claude to actually go ahead and create these different assets. We're going to do some refinement with Claude, and then we're going to paste, and then actually, we're actually going to go into Gamma, and then we're going to make any adjustments we need to make from there. Happy to answer questions. I'm going to show you around Claude a little bit too, just so you can understand how all these things, just visually, like how they're playing together, because I think sometimes it feels so abstract. So you can get a sense of that. So let me stop sharing that. We will jump into my Claude account. Let me see questions here. Does Fathom stay in the chat if you stay in the call if you leave? No, it goes with me. And then how do you feed notes into Claude automatically? How do you connect it to your email? These are all great things to know. Absolutely, yeah. So I will show you guys. Share and Claude. Okay. So this is the desktop app. You're going to see all my crazy, messy stuff here, but I think the realness adds to it. Up here, you have chat, co-work, and code. Okay. Anthropic continues to move these things around. And I always say, whenever I do a presentation, a caveat that's like, whatever I say to you today may not be true tomorrow, because that's just the pace at which things are moving. But this is how they've broken it out, and this has been pretty stable. As I was mentioning earlier, what you can do in co-work, which is nice, is essentially say, I want to create a new project here. So you can create something that like sits within this. This was my initial attempt at like, how do I put the branding together in a way that can sit and be referenced at any time? But now with Claude Design, it'll be much easier. So you can create projects in there. You can create scheduled things that will run again in Cowork, which I don't use as much, but um, and this means like essentially when you create a task or something like that, it can run every day for you at 8 a.m. This kind of a thing. It will not run if you shut your computer unless you toggle this on. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to get too deep into all this because this isn't a Claude session, but it is an important piece of how this all works. Here I am in code. As you can see right here, remember how I mentioned earlier, you just need to attach it to a markdown file. This is attached to a folder I have called Chief. In Chief, there's a markdown file called Claude. It's called Chief because it's my chief of staff. I built this, we build it for other people, etc. So that's my markdown file that it's referencing as, and you can see it's local as I'm working with it. I do want to show you all where the toggle is to turn off. Let's go into settings, um, local sessions, pull requests. Hang on one sec here. Privacy, I think. Here it is. Help improve Claude, so we're under settings and privacy. Allow the use of your chats and coding sessions to train in Anthropic. I have it toggled off. If I want to export my data, I can. That's awesome. You can manage memory preferences. Like there's so much, there's a lot you can do here. But you can also see their data privacy policy up here. Again, I'm sure nothing is perfect, but I think this is the best we've got right now. All right. Okay. So again, one of the big differences in code is it's constantly remembering me and what I am and who I am and what I'm doing. And now the next question is going to be, how do I connect my email and all that? So I'm going to go here. I don't know if you guys can still see my screen. My screen just went black. That's pretty wild. Hang on one second.
Yeah, we still see it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I disconnect that screen. All good. So customize Claude. So essentially it's like, all right, let's connect your apps or create new skills or browse plugins. I'm just going to show you guys here. If I go back, it should show you all of them. Yeah. Um, Directory. So it's showing you the ones that I have connected right now. They're constantly adding more. If yours isn't in here, it will probably be soon. There are other ways around getting it in here, but don't get into that. You can see I have Google Drive, Gmail, Google Calendar, Canva. Like I said, you can also add Microsoft. This is new, like, oh, here's a trending connector. This is constantly changing. Shopify, that's pretty cool. Figma, if you're a designer, Notion, another popular one, Spotify, so interesting. Like, as you look at this, you realize like, wow, there's so many use cases out there for plugging all these data sets into one place. HubSpot, of course, really popular one, Monday, etc. So this just sits in connectors and literally you just go like, actually, if I were to click this, uh, can you guys might not be able to see the window that's opening. Probably not. Let me
Yeah, we
just,
did
oh, you
the
did. Okay. It
uh-huh.
followed me. See, I'm not a Zoom person. Okay. So essentially it would just say, okay, like go ahead, like it just opened another window that was like connect into Notion and you're just authorizing in email password, boom. And then it is connected. Now, once you connect it, you have to say like, all right, I want you to go look into Notion and look at this customer or this client or this calendar or whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. And then you can say, every morning at 9 a.m., I want you to go in, I want you to pull those notes or my to-dos from yesterday, whatever it is, give me a morning report. Or if you don't know what to ask it, you could say like, help me create a morning report, or help me create a sales report. it will look at all your connectors and give suggestions to you. So I think that's one of the cool things about Claude as well, which is like you don't know how to do it, or you're like, I'm feeling stuck. I know there's a lot here. Just ask it. Like these are the things I've got. This is what my business is about. Like how do I make the most of this? So that is how it is piping in things for me. So every morning for me, it runs something called Chief, which is like a full breakdown of like all my email, my calendar, any conflicts I have, things in my email that I must address. I've also asked it to, and I literally just asked it to do this, nothing crazy. I've also asked it to I have a lot of networking meetings or just meetings where I don't know where it's going to go, but I want to help this person. And, I might meet somebody 2 months from now that would be like a great person to connect them to, but I'm not going to remember. So I've asked it to like, could you kind of like start a personal CRM for me every time I talk to somebody or they come into my periphery through email or a meeting or something? Just create like a log for them. So I do that. And then every morning when it runs it, it runs through that CRM and it just kind of says it surfaces up to three different connections I could make for people. And again, that's just because I want to help people and I can't keep it all in my head. So that's that. I'm going to run this demo for you. I'm just going to look at these questions super fast. Share context between, no, you cannot share context between Cloud Code and Cloud Cowork. There is a bright red line, at least as of now. Do all these AI programs connect to an email like this? I tend to use Copilot. Yeah, yep. Do all the AI programs connect to an email like this? So the ones that I know that so Claude does, I know that Chat GPT also has connectors in it now. Um, I don't use it anymore, so I don't know how robust or if Microsoft is in it. But my guess is it is, or it will be soon. It's always like I will say in general, all of these tools are being developed Mac first, kind of Google first. Um, but like I said, Microsoft isn't here, so um, probably a good reference point. Okay, let's get going. So now I'm going to say, um, okay, please run demo 6. All right, so this is me essentially telling it, hey, I want you to create some fake Fathom notes so I can show people how this actually works without using real client data. So now it's going into the memory. It's going like, okay, oh yeah, I remember this. And here are the notes from our fake meeting. So I am Meridian Marketing. I'm having a call with Hargrove and Associate CPA. Again, it's just pulling this from whatever Fathom produced. This is the situation. Here are his priorities. Those are the deliverables, budget and timeline, whatever other details were discussed. Keynotes, Tom is ROI focused, et cetera, et cetera. Great stuff, right? And now it's like, what would you like to do next? So again, that's me typically being like, hey, can you grab those notes that just came in? What do you want to do next? And I'm going to say, please create oh, wait, let me use Whisper Flow for, all of a sudden I started feeling like, why is this taking so long? And I'm like, that's because I'm not dictating. So let me back this up. I'm going to hit my command button. I know you can't, or sorry, my function button. You can move this around on your computer in Whisper Flow. But I'm going to hit the function button and it's going to let me dictate so I can do this all verbally instead of doot, doot, doot. Um, I would like you to create a presentation deck in Gamma and a proposal in Google Docs for this customer, and please build it in my Launch by Lunch account. Now, you can connect multiple email addresses in here. You can't do it natively through those connectors net yet. If you like, you're going to toggle Gmail and it's going to let you connect one. I am positive they're going to figure out ways to do that in the future. I have been able to go around into the terminal and do it, but I don't want to do that. So that's just a heads up on that, which is why I said use Launch by Lunch versus it has my personal email in here. And it also has the Built by Karen email in here. So just to be clear, you can also do things like give it ground rules, like always, if I ask you to create a doc, always create it in this one Google Drive, or always draft emails in this one email address. And the email drafting stuff is really powerful also because like what do you need to do next? You need to send a follow-up email, right? So maybe that follow-up email is just like a tiny piece of whatever came through in those Fathom notes, right? It's like, hey, great to meet you. Totally hear you on the problem, reflecting back to them what it is they need, when you're going to deliver, what you're going to deliver, whatever that is. You can create a format for that too, generally speaking. Like what clients say what the problem was, what I suggested as a solution, what we agreed upon together, chunk, 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 create the drafts, and then put them in my drafts folder in my Gmail for me to go approve. Now, you just thought ask me about permissions and things like that. It will along the way ask for permissions to access things. There are ways to circumvent this and basically just say do whatever you need to do, but I don't feel totally comfortable doing that yet. So it does require like a little bit of babysitting. Um, but essentially now it's saying, okay. I've built the Google Doc and I built the Gamma deck based on these two things. The proposal includes pricing, timeline, what's it say, metrics, 90 day. The deck follows 8 slide structure from the demo script. Not important. Gamma's widget will automatically update when the deck finishes rendering. Usually takes 36 seconds, right? So Gamma will take another second. So let's go into the Google Doc. All right. Can you guys see this? The Hargrove and Associates CPA marketing proposal?
Um, I- we see the link, but I don't see
You
the
don't see the link.
document.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So let me go show you. All right. So I just clicked to the link and here we are. So again, it's plain text. I didn't give it any formatting instructions. I didn't say use my typical template, but just like straight off the bat, essentially it's creating a proposal in here. Um, this could even be your draft for the email kind of thing if you don't like that, but you could tell it how you want it to structure it. And you tell it once and say, commit this to memory, always build my proposals this way. Again, it's got that memory happening. It can remember, gives you the situation summary, what's happening, blah, 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 recommended scope. Okay, we're going to rebuild your website. Here's what it's going to include. I just like, just the thought of having to manually do all of this again, it's just like, yeah, I don't ever want to be in that place again. I love this. Now, I will also say, obviously, everything needs to get checked before it gets sent. You guys know that. I need to say it out loud because um, honestly, because I'm seeing a lot of kids graduate from college and they're not checking their work. And like we've had some interns, really bright kids. They're just so reliant on these tools. And so for myself too, I mean, I'm the CEO of the company. I'm the last stop on the train. I have to be the one. So I have 3 people producing AI things for me, and then they come to me, and it's like, I've got to take the time, as painful as it might be. It's so easy to produce these days. It's so easy to produce. What's harder is actually asking yourself, is this what I want it to say? Does it sound like me? Is it accurate? Um, so that's a very important piece where we cannot lose the will to really double check and ensure that this is represents our company and ourselves in the way we want it to. Um, these are all the things we're going to do. This marketing team, we're going to win this business with the CPA group. It's broken it out, even just like stuff like this, right? It's broken it out into these nice little um, columns and rows. So it's easy to see, like light formatting on italics, timeline. I think for most people, this is like, wow, this feels like a big step up just in terms of aggregation and organization, next steps. So, um, yeah, I get so excited about this stuff. Yeah, somebody put up a heart. I agree. Um, I see one quick question using Cloud Desktop. Yep. So I am using Cloud Desktop. I would recommend that everybody use Cloud Desktop. It's more efficient. It has more bells and whistles. There's other things. Use the desktop. It's the desktop when you're in code, which we'll go back to in a sec here. It is working directly from. So Claude Code, get this out of the way. So Claude Code is working directly from my Chief folder, which you can't see right now because I'm in the middle of a session, but it's connected to my Chief folder, which I showed you earlier. So yes, it is pulling information and context locally. It is bringing it up to Anthropic's brain to think, and then it's bringing me the response back down and surfacing it here and or pushing it out to my other systems that need to get updated based on decisions we make together. Could be your CRM, could be your calendar. I can send calendar invites from here, etc. Um, okay. Just another. Is there a way to adjust the AI settings for non-native English speakers somewhere? I have an accent, and so do many people. Yep. In the note taker itself, I'm not sure. I would Google it, or I would ask Claude. That's my go-to answer for everything these. I'm not sure, and it's a really good question. Conflicting instructions between the different MD files. Yeah. So I only have it working off of one MD file. So that reduces conflict. I will say sometimes I do need to go in and just do like just sort of cleanup in general. And what I will say to Claude is like, hey, I'd like to do some cleanup on that MD file. So again, every time I think to I start feeling like, well, that's going to be a lot of work. I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna ask Claude to help me and help me identify places where there's conflicting information or things aren't stored properly. Like I could ask it to give me a breakdown of like show me my entire file structure because it's building a file structure back there, right? It's got like here's about Karen, here's her business. Now here's all her Fathom notes. Here are her demos, and then there's all these demos underneath it. So you could ask it, produce it for me. I want to see what's happening. Um, Okay. It, yeah. So I would say like with conflicting instructions, like it depends. It might say, I'm not sure what you want me to do because you told me this or that, or it might just make a decision. And then you're like, well, that's not right. And then you realize, maybe you realize you gave it, 2 months ago, you told it one thing, yesterday you told it something else. And you say, why did you do this? I'll ask it why. And then it'll say, because you said this on this date. And then I'll say, okay, I need you to override that. Here's what I want you to always do. And I think, again, that idea around the always list and the never list is really important. And you can absolutely plug that in here in multiple different ways. The always list and the never list is like, it's one of the first things we help businesses with because there's so many ways this can go off the rails, with customer facing things. And that's why we're always like, just do internal things first, and everything always, nothing ever gets sent without our human to review it. Um, okay, so I'm just going to open this Gamma deck and then I'm going to take you guys back over here. Sorry, I am so Zoom illiterate. Okay, what did it make? All right. So again, it doesn't have any branding to work with. It just built a general deck based on the information from the notes that it's a CPA firm. So I guess a picture of a building, that I'm a marketing firm. So okay, where are you now? Hartgrove. This is what you're a summary of the issues, what's happening. Got to keep up with competitors. They're moving fast. These are the things they need. All right, where they want to go. Regurgitating this in an organized way, our recommended approach, all of this as well, a timeline for when things will get done. I mean, it's like, you know, this is the kind of thing that would take hours. Is this perfect? Absolutely not. But with a little bit of instruction ahead of time, in terms of like shaping brand logos, fonts, colors, like this is a slam dunk. Investment summary, monthly retainers, how we measure success, next steps. Oh boy, the cliche handshake. So I'll give you a little bit more on Gamma too, because I have a sense people probably want to know a little bit more about how this thing works. To change themes, like let's say we wanted to have this look like really different. I'm just gonna pick this one that's sitting here, which is wine. So now suddenly, everything's changed. There's nothing so novel here, but it is nice to just be able to change things quickly and easily. I would say over here, I have like a couple custom ones that I've played around with. If I click this one, it will has this kind of ombre font, which we've used on our website. Now I'm like looking at these images and I'm like, oh, these are terrible. How can we change these images? So the best way to do that, there's a couple ways. This is an agent, by the way, for the whole deck. So you could also say like, let's actually try and solve it this way and see how we do. So I'm going to say, sorry, moving all these things out of the way. Okay, please. Hmm. delete. I'm just gonna actually, please remove all the images from the deck. So yeah, it's a holistic agent, so it can make wholesale changes. You can also go um, card by card and make changes locally. All right. So agent just removed all the ages, all the images. Original modified. If for any reason you didn't like it, you could go back to the original. Nice and easy. Now I'm going to say, please add um, AI images that are thematic to these two businesses. Let's see what it comes up with. That's honestly not a great prompt, but point being is I just want to show you guys how easy it is to make wholesale changes and get things in and out. Um, so let's see what it decides. And then I'm going to show you how to use this just quickly, not starting from a Fathom note in Claude. But if you just go to Gamma's homepage and say, I want to build a deck, I have an outline of what I want to do. You're starting from a different point. All right, so now it has populated some images in here for us. Interesting. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, only two. Okay. So again, garbage in, garbage out. The more specific you can get, and the more, context you can give it, the better. Um, and then if you wanted to, I'll show you this real quick. Like, I want to try a new layout I just don't like the way you laid it out, right? So let's try a new layout. So I can click this button on this one particular slide, and now it's working over here to change the layout. And this is for me like a huge benefit because it does a pretty good job of laying things out, but like sometimes that's just not what you want. So it'll give me an option with an image across the top. We've got different layout options here for how things are going to sit on the page, or like a background image that's has some opacity to it, and then other information laid on top of it. So you guys get the drift here. Pretty cool. And then I will show you the front door, Gamma, and then I would love to take some questions. So let's go here. So if you go to just gamma.app, that's the website. If I go out here, I think it will just take me to, no, it's like, you're already here, Karen. All right. So here, something new that they've created is graphics. Um, I think all of us have felt the pain of the fact that like there seems to be a real AI gen graphic gap. ChatGPT is terrible. So I've actually started using this a bit to create some graphics, some standalone graphics. Not necessarily for my decks, but like for social and things like that. It does a pretty good job. So I would say like give that a whirl. But then getting back to the decks themselves, there's all different ways to start. So you could paste in a whole lot of text. You could create it from a template if you already have something that you've created in here, or they have actually some pre-built templates as well. You could import a file or a URL, like if you have a website or something like that that you would like to start with to build out a deck, you can do that. You can also publish these to the web. So in theory, you could have an asset that has its own URL in your domain. And you just click publish and then connect your domain. That's pretty awesome. Also, I use that a lot for assets for workshops. Um, or in here, generate just from like a one line prompt, something like that. So if I were to click on this, it's like, okay, well, what do you want to make? Do you want to make something for social? As I mentioned, the graphic is new. Um, Document a web page presentation. You can change the number of cards that it's going to plan to create at baseline. Um, Hmm. That's a new studio. I think that's a new option there. I don't totally understand that. You can change how the card size default as well. So there's some options there too. Um, and then it's starting to give you some example prompts, which is nice. This wasn't here before. Again, to help people get a sense of like, well, how could I use this? There's so many ways. Uncovering the mysteries of ancient civilizations. The best and worst slang of Gen Z. I think we're going to click on that one. Comparative marketing analysis of skincare versus software. There's so many things you could do. So this sounds like fun to me. Let's click on the best and worst of Gen Z. But I could say like, tell me how to build a rowboat or like whatever. It will go do research, come back, and then kind of come. And now it's giving us the outline. All right, here's how we're thinking about it, Karen. Chapter one, chapter two, even mid. Yeah, sounds all too familiar to me. You can pick all these two: minimal, concise, detailed, extensive. How much text do you want on the page? Visually, you can also have it start right with let's pick this one. Image source, don't add images. Or do you want stock photos? Do you want web images, AI images, illustrations, etc.? I'm going to say AI images just for fun. Then it's letting me pick a style even from that. I don't know. Let's do that one. Generate. Let's see what it comes up with. Evolving language of a digital generation. I'm glad I picked this theme. I feel like it was the right one. I see some questions here. I'm going to get into this. Oh, maybe there's not anything else for me to do. Oh, AI recommendations for Gamma versus other slide deck generators. Yeah, I agree that picking one and sticking with it. Um, you can connect anything in here. So I honestly off the top of my head, I can't even tell you other AI deck generators, but it connects to Microsoft PowerPoint. It connects to your Google Docs. If you have a Google Doc, if you're a Google Doc person or Google Slides, I should say, it all connects. You can use those connectors in the back, connect it, and then say, from back where we were in Claude, say, hey, please create this presentation from my Fathom notes in my Google Slides. Please use the template called whatever you've named your template in there to run with it. So yeah, David, yes, that's definitely doable. Upload it to Gamma. You can bring in a template. You can, or you can just leave it in PowerPoint and push out to there. Um, I do also really think Claude Design is going to be a massive game changer for people to be able to really tweak and customize. Again, it's brand new. In fact, Claude Design isn't even in the desktop app yet. It's like its own little floating cloud in the sky. So there's work to be done there, but you could use any of those other native tools as well to your systems. Um, so Chris, to your question about Claude, so I am on the Pro plan and I pay $20 a month. Um, Claude has all different access levels. There's team plans, there's enterprise, there's different seats that cost different amounts of money. I pay $20 a month. I will say this. I know that they are like, wow, this deck is like, they're like really getting into it. Oh, maybe I told it to do about, oh no, only 10 sides. Uh, there will be across the board, not just Claude, ChatGPT, etc. AI has been subsidized so heavily by VCs that there is going to be pricing increases wholesale across the board coming in June. Now, for people like us who aren't building products on top of this. We don't have 20 engineers building on top of Claude. That's probably most of us anyway. Um, it will impact us, but it won't impact us anywhere to the degree to which a budget will be impacted for some of those very large companies. Um, you can also in it on the pricing stuff, you can also add, like I have the option toggled on to add up to $20 a month. So if I'm working on something and I run out of tokens, it can then dip into my overflow of $20 a month. I'm a pretty heavy Claude user, but still, again, it depends on how you're using it. But like when we are working on heavy intensive projects for clients, um, like building out brains and things like that for like their entire company. Yeah, we hit the token limit on Max, and Max is $200 a month, and Max, but again, like you guys don't need Max. I would recommend you just do the Pro plan. And again, I don't think the Pro plan has gone up to 125 a month, but I'm not sure where you're seeing that number, Chris. But it could, who knows? Like, I guess my point is the price is going to change. Um, okay, I'm just scrolling back through comments here. Uh, how can I get Cloud Cowork to delete Mark spam emails? Yeah, you can. Yeah. Oh no, not Cowork. I don't know if you can do that in Cowork. You might be able to ask it. I would go into a project, connect your email, go into a project and say, "Hey, can you see my email?" And I would like, and then if it'll probably say yes, and then you can say, "I want you to start like every morning. I want you to check it at 9 a.m. And if it's, if it meets this, can you do this? And if it meets this criteria, you delete it or move it into a separate folder." Ask it. Code definitely can. And like I said, all you need to get started there is a markdown file. Um, Not 100% on that, but ask Claude. Moda. I don't know Moda. Sorry. Um, okay. We have our deck, you guys. The ever-evolving lexicon. What's next? Also, we're running out of time, but if anyone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, please do. Karen Kelly, Boston. You'll see me there. Slang is alive. This is funny. Authenticity. Oh, this is so interesting. It's more than a trend. It's a culture and mirror reflecting what this generation truly values. Hmm. This is like, I mean, this is a pretty good deck for, again, thematically for what we were talking about. Gen Z, it's using emojis. I like the theme we picked. Um, Even the graphics, I think, work well for this, and they've colorized them to match the theme as well. So you can see how when you really start to tweak how this outputs, you can get some really slick looking stuff that matches your brand pretty darn fast. So interesting. So any last questions here?
I haven't seen any that you haven't addressed. I think
Okay.
although Chris did uh clarify that he had clicked on business use instead of personal.
Oh,
Personal's
got it.
cheaper.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we've caught everything. If not, reach out to us, reach out to Karen. We'll do our best to get your Oh, we have another question. Does Whisper do more than just the dictation on my Windows laptop?
I don't know if there's anything specific about Windows. So I'm just opening Whisper right now, as a matter of fact. Why don't I share this with you real quick so you guys can see what I'm seeing? Um, there we go. Whisper. So they have something new called Insights. What is this really useful for? Like streaks. It's silly. I hate streaks. I'm just going to use it because it's effective, not because I feel like I need to keep up a streak. So one of the things that it will do, clearly I have not fully, this is another one that just keeps getting things added to it. It will, like earlier when I was dictating something and I said a person's name and it could have easily been spelled the way they spelled it, but it wasn't. And then I went back and fixed it and it was like, oh, I'm saving this to your dictionary. So it absolutely is adjusting to how I talk, the way I tend to communicate even after I've adjusted things. And you can do a lot more than what I've already done to, like if we go to dictionary, yeah, like so, like these are some of the people or words I've used recently that I've corrected that it's like, oh, that's actually not right. And so it is kind of using AI to intelligently get to know like how you talk, company jargon, client names, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the deal. Lots to explore there for sure.
Okay.
Um, oh, your Windows laptop. I don't know. I mean, I just think it's so much of dictation comes down to how accurate it is. Like, how much are you going back and fixing things is the bottom line. And so, if I was fixing things 50% of the time, it probably wouldn't be worth the money. But it just works so well across everything that it's my buddy now. Whisper Flow. It is the website. It's WISPR is actually how it's spelled. WISPR, and then the word flow. Google that and you will find it. And then it's a desktop app
Okay.
as well.
Um, Excellent. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And I just threw up the thank you slide there real quick. So you can get that mentor if you'd like to. We do have mentors that work with different products, Canva, some different ones from Karen. just as an example, but we're happy to help where we can. Certainly, if you have questions for Karen as well, she said to go ahead and follow her on LinkedIn, correct? Is that the best way to reach you?
That's fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Thank you so much for everyone for your time, and we hope to see you
This was
again
fun.
in the future.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks for coming.